Good morning. Running a little bit late. So let's have a look at the singular play yesterday and the joy of taking out insurance. Only the one play for me yesterday, but we'll have a look at Sandvik and Helsingborg in case Helsingborg led at any stage and whether that red card was of any great importance. But this is the match of the trade. 1.42 favourite, going a goal down. Early enough for us to have a play. Now, I teach members take out insurance. Cost you £2.40 to cover a £40 stake. And if they don't win, without it being a draw, we are covered. So for the sake of £2.40, take your insurance out regardless of how strong the favourite is. I think you've learnt that lesson from the World Cup, haven't you? How many 0-0s did we have for 1.09 favourites and shorter? Do not make assumptions. With insurance at that price, you'd have had to be Howling Mad Murdoch or a member of the Labour Party to have not played that one. In the World Cup, we had our first knockout. Is this going to be endemic of what we're going to be expecting? Too scared to concede the first goal, looking for a late set piece winner. And that was pretty much how Canada played it out yesterday. Late goal, 92nd minute, Esther Cow. So what this suggests, you're certainly going to be targeting any late draw. I'm sure they don't want to be playing extra time and then penalties. You want to get the job done in 90 minutes. Just having a look at that Sandvik and Helsingborg match. Did Helsingborg lead at any stage? Not really. Norrkoping making it 1-1. But this, I suspect, was both teams to score in the research. Then we got the red card from Gigovic, and already Sandviken were leading prior to the red card. So we wouldn't have got a trade, really. If it was the scoreline was the other way around, it was 1-2 to Helsingborg, then with a whole half to go and away from home, you'd be looking to lay them. But as things stand, Sandviken were already leading prior to Gigovic's red card. Oh, and don't forget, when you're a football trader and you get a penalty for the team that you expect to equalise, of course they're going to miss. It's going to be a Chris Waddle, Rose Ed kind of a job. And that's what we faced. I joked yesterday. Jamal sounds like a rapper rather than a football player. Old Jamal. An absolute, complete and utter yet again a professional footballer missing a penalty. It's my bugbear, and I just mentioned it. Penalty Norrkoping. Watch it gloriously glide into Rose Ed, which was just a joke. But I'm so used to important penalties being missed as a trader that it wasn't a great surprise, and it doubles up the importance of that insurance, doesn't it? Looking on to today, and Wimbledon is with us, along with more World Cup knockout matches. So the first port of call is Brazil, Japan. Let's take it through its paces. Brazil are playing Japan. So ranked number 5 with the Japanese 18. So this is going to be a tight affair, I would suggest. And with the Japanese already having done a version of Brazil in their friendlies, along with England, I think that 1.67 is rather shaky. Of course, you've got the world-class strikers for Brazil, but these Japanese can generate goals. So both teams to score angle would not surprise. 50% win rate from 4 fixtures in the top 10 range, which is not too shabby. 50% strike rate from 4 fixtures in a higher tier range for Brazil as well. So I think 1.67 is far too short. Yes, we acknowledge the absolute quality. We can have a look at these head-to-heads here as well, see if they will offer us any angle. From your own personal perspective, how would you see this playing out? You can obviously rely sometimes on that Brazil forward line, that's for sure. 5th against 15th, 2 players listed, but the important players like Matheus Cunha and Vinicius Jr. are playing. It's not a vintage Brazil side by any stretch, but still that world-class forward line continues. So let's have a look. Tactical lineup. Well, that's wrong already. So check your facts. Brazil coach named wrongly. So ignoring that, tight enough in the rankings. Well, I don't know if Vinicius Jr. is doubtful. Rodrigo as well. So might have to work on this AI. He's not that accurate. Historical head-to-heads, 10 wins, 4 draws, 6 wins for Japan. We did have a recent head-to-head win as well, which I thought that the Japanese won. In-play scalping. Brazil displaying heavy possession triggers, but dealing with defensive transition injuries to keys. Yeah. My conclusion is AI's got that one completely wrong, so we're not going to rely. What I would note, not custom HTML, what I would note for this Brazil match, personally perspective, both teams to score would not surprise. A Japanese lead would not surprise either at some point. Potential for a goal at least before half time. So check the stats. 20-minute mark. I'm not going to go more in depth into that. So we're looking at the Germany-Paraguay match. Watch out for that defensive block from Paraguayans. On the rankings perspective, their record against teams around Germany is very poor indeed. Germany has an 80% win rate from 5 fixtures in the tournament minnows range, where Paraguay has notched a 0% win rate. So on that basis, Paraguay may find it very difficult to break down this German side. Indeed, they will make it difficult for Germany to break them down. So let's have a quick look. 10th against 41st in the FIFA rankings. Anything notable about the Paraguayans? 0-0 against Australia. 2 consecutive clean sheets, but done by the USA. Now that could be notable. A sudden, huge concession of goals against a better ranked opponent. The Germans have been Vorsprung-Dorf technique, but both teams have scored in the last 3 group stage matches, which gives the Paraguayans some hope. That loss against Ecuador, it follows the general rule. Teams that don't need to win very rarely do win. And you're highly likely to have seen a much changed German side against Ecuador. So I wouldn't be panicking too much. I'd be looking for a Paraguayan opener, but they seem to be lacking up front. Although a very impressive win against Turkey. If you can keep that Turkish side quiet, saw what they did to the USA, 3 goals against the USA, you could potentially quieten this German side. This is a reminder for me of kind of an Arsenal versus a mid-table Premier League side, where it's highly likely to be an Arsenal win, i.e. Germany, and it could be a 1-0, couldn't it? Could be that kind of a thing. But coming into this group, both teams have scored, and That's notable. At least one team has scored 2 goals at least as well. That could give you an idea. Over 2.5 goals if it's 0-0 at half-time. But we've got attack v defence basically here, don't we? Very, very difficult matches to unpack, given the usefulness as well of the opponent. Not too shabby. Defensively sound as well. So I'd be looking at 2 consecutive clean sheets. And Germany's pattern so far is for over 2.5 goals, and both teams to score. Will this be attack v defence? So that's it for today, really. Just the 2 matches. I can't go any greater in depth into them. Might be worth watching. Certainly the first one at 6 o'clock. I'll be up for that. And I can see the Germans doing something here. That 1.67 is on shaky ground. Before we go, the Wimbledon is upon us, as long as the beautiful British summer hasn't turned up. And let's see if there are any angles in this early. 1.14 wins the first set. That's not a surprise. 1.36 looks like he's losing the set. So I could do this. If Carino Buster's odds are short enough in the set betting market, I could consider laying a 3-0 win for a player who looks like he's going to win the first set. Okay. Now it's gone up to 6.8. This is all about the trade. You can see it's quite high liability. Or you could do the traditional. You could wait to see if Pablo Carino Buster wins the set, and then you could take him on. You could even take him on now before the set is over. So Shapovalov might be backable now because he's holding him to 40-40. And now if Shapovalov breaks, we're back on serve, and those odds are going to drop markedly. This could be a long-term play as well. If Buster does win the first set, the odds will go to probably over evens, and there we have it. We've got advantage Shapovalov. You can see that 6.8 now will be getting a lot higher. Sorry, Carino Buster, 3-0, getting a lot higher already. We could have got 6s about it, couldn't we? So that would be how I would have looked at that one. The potential for the market to think that Buster has this set in his grasp. But no, we could be on the grasp. But it looks like it's back to 40-40 now. Full Kitchen Brooksby, no strong opinion. 1.53 favourite winning the first set, no surprise there. 1.10 winning the first set. Don't forget to lay anything 1.08 or lower. We had a 1.01 come in the French Open. Basing, keep an eye on this one. If Basing can be competitive in the first set and win it, we might have a play looking for Motozuku and the short odds to be returned. Rublev and Safulin, you wouldn't be surprised at a Safulin set win, but Rublev should be very, very competitive. Fellow countrymen likely to know each other's game very well indeed. Others I've picked out, Taro Paul, lay him. I think that's his name, Taro Paul. Cameron Norrie, not fancied, so we'll be looking at him. Another Brit in Tarvet, be looking at him to be competitive today. Yannick Sinner, you'd be laying him at 1.01. They're just human, don't forget. They're not automatons. Igor Elysium has been beaten at short odds, so definitely 1.02. Shevchenko could give him something to think about. The Fonz had a good run into the Wimbledon, so Batista could take a set off him, particularly on grass. So it will be interesting to see tomorrow any potential plays. Belinda Bencic looks like she's going to win the first set, but I would be laying her because she's playing a Brit. So you can see at 5-2, there wasn't much damage to the odds, was there? We were looking at that 4-3 to 4-4. Now, you could be backing Dennis again if you wanted to, or you could wait for him to lose the first set if he's going to lose the first set, and then you could lay that at 5.9, 3-0. It's a long, long way to go. You can see competitiveness from Shapovalov. Let's have a look at Bencic. So for me, got to be laid. We're playing the plucky Brit angle. You could lay 2-0 set betting if you wanted. We're looking for the plucky Brit comeback in the second set, or the hint of it. Of course, this is far better. But just for winning a set, Mika, we might not get a decent enough move up. But the liability, of course, is absolutely negligible. So that's the only interesting way to get involved in a match where the two players are probably two different quality and ranking. So warming up nicely, I wouldn't be panicking. And Rublev and Safulin, there's been a first set win for Safulin against Rublev. Do you back Rublev now, or are you looking for a 2-0 Safulin win? 3-0 set betting would be the first one of interest, 5.1. So just increase my liability a little bit. And I'll be looking at a Rublev response second set. Fellow countryman, so no surprise to see Safulin win a set. Great to see him win the first set. I hope this isn't an off day for Andrei Rublev. You could back him now. Huge move upwards. He's staying steady at 1.5. That's the first bit of support. And in tennis, you can play support and resistance. You see 1.75. So you could be looking at that high there, looking for it to go back to that 1.5 eventually. So you could back him now if you wanted to, or you could wait for a 2-0, 2-1 angle in Safulin's favour. So it's a long way to go. You're looking at the odds getting back down to 1.5 eventually. And when they break 1.5, if they do, Rublev will be highly likely to win the tournament. One last thing, notably for me, race reading is a lot more difficult on the weekend, but still plenty of potential winners. And if you want to practice race reading, go to full results, choose yesterday. The Curragh I found difficult, but a couple of late winners, I think. It was a high quality field, which we don't want. We want some dodge pots. Looking at the live odds here, those gaps are an indicator of a potential play. But this is also has a number of other potential players. There's not enough action going on here, but we do have that gap, which is number 4, number 8, and number 16. 4 neck second at 18-1. 4, 8, and 16. 8 will be there, and 16 out of contention. So even that little look at the gap here, 4 horses to choose from, and we get a next second at 18s. So unlucky. 5.45, again, go to the race card, go to the live odds, and again, you've seen those gaps, number 1 and number 10. That would be my first port of call. Look at those gaps. There will be others to identify via any patterns that emerge, like number 5. So we've got number 1, number 5, number 10 as potential plays, with number 7 of a little bit interest. So 1, 5, 7 and 10. 1, 5, 7 and 10. So not a going race for me, this one. 5 coming third at 22 to 1. Again, well, 7 length gap to in my teens. So not a good. Number 10, just outside of the 4 play-out places there, which would have been rather nice at 14 to 1. So no real pick for this one. And looking again in hindsight, 1, 2, outside interest in the actual winner. Not strictly a pattern, but a pattern if you include Sky Bets. You probably don't know what I'm talking about. But once you see this day in, day out, you'll start seeing these patterns emerging, and you can really make some big odds plays. Let's have a look at one more before I say goodbye. So again, you've got that gap, haven't you? 1, 7, 9 is the gap. Were they effective on this occasion? Second at 10s, so just hitting the crossbar, which is a next second and that second. Just hitting the crossbar, just with these gaps like this. Any other potential qualifiers? Well, there'd be far too many in this one. Number 3 would interest me, definitely. Number 6, 8. So the non-gappers, 3, 6, 8 and 13. 3, 6, 8 and 13. So only really that one. So it would have been a losing one for me, this. I wouldn't have picked the winner. But with so many big odds plays, I've had 73 odds wins, I've had 57 odds wins, and I'm going to get stuck in July. Having tested it with a small bank, I'm going to go in with larger stakes from July onwards. So I'll keep you informed about that. But if you want to have a look to see if you can spot patterns, you can go to any race. 25th of June, Newcastle. Check out one of these. Handicap. Look for the live odds. Try not to look at the result. And then you can see that gap again. 5, 6, 10. Notable gaps there. 5, 6, 10, 9, 11. A bit too busy, this one. 5, 6, 10, 9, 11. So 9, 11 and 10 again. You do bleed profit when you're ever so close to getting a double figure odds winner consistently enough. Well, I'll leave you at that today. Good luck at Wimbledon, and I'll keep you informed the second set beginning. So we're looking for a response from Shapovalov, and we're looking at Rublev response already, and he has broken the Safin serve. So we're already getting green, and if you wanted to scalp, you could be straight out of there with £8 to add to the kitty. So that's how I approach the trading. You're just looking for value, and if you're looking at the set betting market, it's a little illiquid. You might have trouble getting out at 17s, but you can see the value of that first break straight away. It's a long way to win 3-0 at 5.1 odds against a fellow countryman. So that's the problem with the market, though. It is illiquid. I will leave you be. Good luck if you're playing this evening. I might be up and about, certainly will be up and about for Brazil and Japan. I'll look for the potential of both teams to score in this one, and the Japanese to be more competitive than their odds suggest. Could see them scoring a couple of goals. Could be, I like the Netherlands, another 2-2. And then one team will have to get the 5th goal. Germany and Paraguay, it's attack v defence. 2 clean sheets for Paraguay stands out for me. Germany, both teams are scoring. Their loss against Ecuador, I wouldn't be investing too much into that. It was a dead rubber for the Germans. Fascinating matches, but very, very difficult to trade. Good luck if you're playing the tennis as well today. Apologies for the late start, but it's not going to be affecting us with the kickoffs at 6 o'clock.